Hi, Pacola. Pacola, which lighting looks better? This lighting or this lighting? This lighting, does it look better with the more yellow or the more blue? What do you think? What do y'all think? Does it look better with, okay, here we go. The yellow or the blue? Blue? Okay. Thank you, Pacola. How y'all doing today? So I thought we'd draw. Hi, Tori. Let's see here. I gotta mess with the settings. Hi, Julie. Happy wonderful Wednesday. Hi, Janice, Galena. Can y'all hear me okay? Can you hear me all right? Bueller. Hi, Julie. Yeah, so Pamela, Jay, Andrew. Hey, Andrew. How you doing? Let's see, Darla. I know I'm probably missing people. Audio good. Thank you, Pacola. Yes, I am on the hut tonight. And I was going to announce it in a little while, but Andrew spilled the beans. So if y'all don't follow, the Comic Book Hut, he's going to interview me tonight at 7 on his show. So yeah, thank you, Tori. So at 7 p.m. Eastern time, the Comic Book Hut is going to interview me. I'm just going to draw. I'm not going to do a face-to-face. Don't make me put on any makeup. I do a face-to-face every few months. But, no, y'all want to see me do something. Y'all know what, So, yeah. But yeah, so I'm going to be, and I'll tell about it later. And I will put a link to the Hut's channel in my description box. So yeah, 7 p.m. tonight. All right, let's see. Kelly W. I said hi to Darla. Carol Vick. I said hi to Janice. Hi, Lena. Oh my gosh, Lena. Your character that you created was so awesome. Lena, I guess it's probably maybe about an hour into yesterday's show. I mean, you can watch all of Lena's show, but if you want to watch, see her character that she designed, and oh my gosh, it is hilarious. It is so funny. So Lena created this comic character, and I think she's Aunt Wisdom or Wisdom Aunt, something like that. And anyway, it's so funny. Hi, G. Hi, Teresa P. Hi, Janet. And we were all laughing so hard yesterday watching Lena's show. So Lena's in Denmark. She has a cutest little accent ever. I'm trying to get rid of that glare. And anyway, it was so fun. Well, you made it, Lena. That has nothing to do with the comp book. You just did. You have just created the best character. It needs to have its own book. I'm serious. So if y'all Lena 20, is it 2010? Yeah, Miss Lena 20. Oh, Miss Lennox 2010, who is Lena. Yesterday's video, something about an hour in is when she started showing her character. Of course, watch the whole show. She's fun the whole show. But oh my gosh. And I was working on this. I did finish it yesterday. I was working on this and I didn't really want to chat because I was trying to get this finished. And I had to stop. And go comment. It was just too hilarious. So, hi, Carla. Thank you, Janet. Thank you. And Janet, if you have the Comic Book Hut's link, could you put that in too? Hi, Celie. Because I'm going to be on tonight at 7. The Hut, I call him the Hut, is going to interview me tonight. We'll see how that goes. And yeah. but he interviews a lot of people. He talks comics. He talks, he just talks a little bit about everything, but he does review comics, talks comics. And I'm not a comic book creator, but I support comics and I love the art of comics. And I did pull out some of the campaigns I've supported, so you could see some of the campaigns I've supported. And just talk art. And I'm going to draw while I'm doing it. So I don't know what I was going to work on this, but then I said, well, now I got to finish this. So I'm going to have to find something else to work on tonight. So thank you, Pacola. Yeah, there's a link to the Comic Book Hut and Miss Lena. I guess she's putting in both. Wait, is she putting it? I don't know. Oh, she's putting it in for Lena. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Pacola. Thank you, Janet. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Darla. So how you doing, Zeely? Good to see you. Oh, it does. Oh, Gaga, this is a memorial portrait as well. Yeah, I don't know if y'all know Mark Levin. Anyway, this is his Barney. That's his dog's name, and it's a little trying to get the color a little better, but anyway, that's pretty good. It's on the tone tan paper. So I did this and I just posted it, and I'm going to be honest, I don't know if he'll see it. I tagged him on Twitter. You can't tag him on Facebook. He doesn't have that option to tag him. But I did post it, and I did tag him on Twitter, so maybe he'll see it. But he was so broken up about losing his Barney, so I did that for him. So there's that, and so I just put this here. So there was something here to. There was just something here while I took a screen. While the screenshot took, but let's see. It's a little dark. I don't want to get it too dark. Let's brighten it up a little, and depending on what paper. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I have two options. I want to either draw, yes, thank you, Janet. I either want to draw an octopus in ink or a jellyfish. And I don't know if I want to do it on, I pulled out a piece of white Bristol, and then I also pulled out a piece of the, of our, art scroll. So depending on which one I do, I'll have to readjust the light depending on what paper we use. So anyway, yeah, so I'm either gonna, and I'm thinking this one we can paint, and then this one we ink. So it depends on what y'all rather see. Do you want to see inking or scroll painting? So either one. I guess I could do that, Janet, and take my chances. Yeah. I guess I could do that. So anyway, so what's everybody else working on? The jellyfish, like a jelly. See, now I don't know if I want to ink a jellyfish or do I want to paint a jellyfish? So I could do either one because I'm thinking of jellyfish. I do octopus every now and then, I've drawn some of those. I don't have one handy here. They're in my portfolio. But I thought if I do one in, of course, I'd start with the ball, just sketch it with the ballpoint pen and then ink it. Or we could just go with the tone tan paper and draw and paint. So I don't know which one. I don't know which one you'd rather see, inking or painting. Let's see. Ink, Carla said. Yeah, I think I am going to do a jellyfish. It's just depending on do I want to paint it or ink it. So I got one for paint, one for ink. Now here's the thing. If I ink it, it could be next month's thank you for the channel supporters. So if I ink it, it could be a little print. If I paint it, probably not. I just busted out my new Prismacolors and coloring book. Oh, yay! Okay, go ahead, Julie. Y'all need to follow Topaz Pearl Girl. She's on YouTube. Facebook and Instagram. Do both. I don't think I have time for both. I don't think I have time to do both. Get on the ink, Janet said. Now, if I inked it, I could add some color to it. I could add color to it, my waterproof acrylic inks. I could do that. So ink would be great. So it's, we'll see which one. So anyway, if you're just joining us or watching the recording, I'm Dee Dee. I come on every Monday and Wednesday, coffee and art in the morning, usually about 8:30 to talk and chat for a little bit before the 9 o'clock official start time. And yes, thank you, Pacola. Yes, I'm going to be interviewed tonight on the Comic Book Hut at 7 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, ink with color. Well, I would draw it, Carol. I would draw it with a ballpoint pen and then color it with some ink on top of that. Yeah. So I guess it looks like it might be inking. It looks like people are voting for inking. Hi, Shadad Shabanu. Hi, Ann. Shelly Allred. Jay Weber says ink. I'm on Lappy today. Yeah, how does it look? Is there buffering? Don't tell me there's buffering. I'm going to have to figure out some more settings on HP. HP is not, it did okay on Monday, but there was buffering. I'm going to try Lappy today. See, I really want a hardwire. I want a hardwire cable upstairs, but there's no service techs aren't doing that yet. They should be soon because Georgia's pretty much opened, and all the stats are going down and everything's going well. So I'm just not sure, when I can get a tech out here to hardwire upstairs. I've got TV cables. I don't know if they'll put a splitter, but there's just not one in this room. There's no cable outlet in my art room. So, I need to get thanks, Ann. I either need to get a splitter in here, just hardwire it itself, but I can't do that till I can get a service guy out here. So in the meantime, what kind of paper is best for alcohol markers? There's a lot of things that work with alcohol markers, Carol, Vicky. Just depends on if you don't want it to go through or not. Like there's that render paper and it doesn't go through, but it's so thin. I don't like render paper. It just depends on what you're doing. I use my alcohol markers in color books, but it does go through. So you don't want to do it on paper that you care about the other side, right? Hi, Kangaroo Babe. Hi, Joe. Anybody else I'm missing? And then Janet says Yupo. I don't, Yupo is too much like photo paper to me. But a lot of people swear by Yupo. They love their Yupo. It's too much like a photo paper. But again, that's just me. Let's see. Now my door is going to jiggle because I have all the windows open. And it's not windy, but the air is making my door jiggle. But I have to close the door because of the cats. I don't want them in my ink or paint, whichever one we decide to do. So, but yeah, that's true, Janet. That's true. So it just depends on what you like. Have you used Spectrum nor glitter brush pens? No, I do not. I don't use a lot of glitter stuff. The only, I do have my, I use where is it up here? Somewhere up here. I can't even think of the name right now. The glitter brush. It's like light glitter. I thought I had it right here. It is. Yeah. The, what do you call this? This one here. I can't think of the name right now. It's not on here. What's the name of this thing? And it comes in a few colors. Somebody tell me what this is called. Winkostella. I use the Winkostella some, but if I really want glitter, real sparkly glitter, I use my Stickles. I use my stickles if I really want something glittery. Like in my color books and stuff, I'll use stickles. But I don't think I've used a Spectrum Noir glitter brush pens, Sarah. Let's see. I don't know about that, Carol. I've never had a pen. I've never had a marker get ruined from paper, but you know, anything's possible. Oh, there you go. Yeah, Debbie Epps does alcohol inks. And I don't know if you mean alcohol markers. Well, yeah, that's what you asked. Alcohol markers. I don't usually use a lot of alcohol ink. Now, if you're using alcohol inks like out of the bottle, then the Yupo paper will do real cool effects. I was just thinking you meant coloring with like Copics. Maybe I misunderstood. But yeah, Debbie Epps does do alcohol inks. So, let's see what else. Anything else going on? Hopefully we have, and I will readjust the lighting when we get crack-a-lacking. So give it a couple more minutes. Thanks everybody for being here. Thanks for all the thumbs up. So yeah, I thought I would draw a jellyfish. I'll either ink. I think it looks like people are voting for inking. So maybe I need to well, I don't want to back out too much, but I can just move this up and down a little. Let's see. Yeah, Carol, check Debbie Epps out if you want to do alcohol, like the drips into and make it like spread out and make pretty designs and cool designs and other things too. I just don't really do that. I like my paint and pencils, but we try a few things here and there. I mean, I do use some markers and things every now and then, but we like to try all kinds of things. Happy Hump Day, Christine. What else? I had something funny I was going to tell y'all this morning, and I can't remember it. All right, so it looks like an 11 by 17 Bristol, and the reason I picked this one as opposed to the 14 by 17, a jellyfish, I want it long and skinny, so I went with size. But it's Strathmore Bristol. What is it? Smooth Bristol. It's the 300 series. That's what this is, the 300 series. There's a 400 series too. Let's see if I can get this to, there we go. It's a little more spot on. Yeah, definitely work with both. Try all different kind of things. And then my Tone Tan mixed media. This is like a cardstock weight. It's just like the Strathmore Tone Tan paper, but thicker. And this is what I do portraits on, like this little puppy I just showed you. All right, so I guess we are going to go on. We're going to move the paper here. I'm going to move this out of the way. And if we have time, we can always go and draw something as well. But anyway, let's see. Looks like we need to brighten this up. There we go. All right. So let's see. I have some, I did save a bunch of jellyfish and some octopus and some photos. So I've got a few to choose from. And I don't ever copy them exactly. I just use them, you know, as a guide, a reference, because I had all my own little touches to them. And hopefully, so it's just a little bigger than, if I get too far, if I back out anymore, you're not going to see anything, right? So now Picola said it looks better with the blue light. Y'all tell me if that's, no, I'm not going to doubt you, Picola. All right, but here's the white balance. All right, this is blue light. This is yellow light. Which one do y'all like better? Picola said blue. What do y'all say? Do y'all say yellow light or do y'all say blue light? Well, it's actually daylight is what the blue light is. So here's blue light or daylight, and there's yellow light. Which one do y'all like? Blue? Blue. Everybody's saying blue. Okay, back to blue. Okay. That's what I usually keep it on. But I thought, well, I'll just ask. Thanks, guys. So it looks like it's blue for everybody. Thank you. Daylight. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see here. I guess we could get started. Remember, guys, make sure you have live chat clicked at the top. Make sure if you talk to me, you put it in caps. I've got stung by jellyfish too in Corpus Christi, Texas. My sister and I were out in the ocean, and I got stung on the legs, or maybe just my one leg, or maybe it was both my below the knee. I got stung, and I came out of the water, and of course I had these, red, welty, blistery things. I mean, not really blisters; they weren't blisters. They were like red welts all over, looks like a rash. And so I sat out of the water for about an hour. I think maybe mom or grandma had some calamine or some kind of something to put on it. So I sat out for about an hour. And my sister goes, come on, let's get back in. Let's get back in. And I said, well, I don't know. There's jellyfish. She goes, I've been out there. I haven't got stung by any jellyfish. I'm like, okay. So I went back in and I got stung all over my whole body. So I have been stung by jellyfish. I've been stung by a scorpion, and what else? Nothing like a tarantula or nothing like that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it does take a while for it to wear off. So yeah, he's around here somewhere, Galena. And good morning, by the way. So anyway, so put it in caps if you're talking to me, because I'm going to be drawing here, and Lappy is sitting over there to my side. So I have to look to the side to see Lappy, right? I can't put Lappy in front of me because I got my marker build right there. Pencil marker and pencil build is right there. So I'm looking straight ahead, and I'm looking straight ahead, and then I can't necessarily see chat unless I look over at it. So put it in caps. Hi, Cheryl J. I know Kenny. Hi, Kenny. It's been a while. Hope you're well. Tiffany. Anybody else I missed? Nancy. If I missed you, I'm not trying to miss you. Hi, BDI Beth. Oh, I love saying that name. All right. So I am just going to, I think I might take this bracelet off because it scratches. I always say that. And then, and then I always put it back on. I take it back off. Okay. So I am going to try, and let's see if I'll have to kind of move down to start. Okay. So I'm going to have, what do you call it? I want to decide where the top is here. Something like that. And then I really want to draw it huge, and I have to control myself that I don't draw it huge because I don't want to all fit on the paper, right? Then it won't fit on the paper. So I have to draw it small enough. Because I love drawing big. Y'all know I love my big art scroll and drawing it real big. So let's see. And then I'll just go as far down with the little, and I like, they're little wavy bits. They're like, let's see if I can kind of, and of course I will draw, so the legs are kind of like wavy bits like this. We call them not legs, tentacles. And it's hard to see, I know, at the beginning until I start, putting in some darker ink. The ink, which, by the way, where is? Oh, here it is. Inking in with the brush here. So I'm just kind of. Maybe this one kind of curls around this way. Maybe we got a few curling around this way. And then they have all these long tentacle, like little white lines. And if I do the background black, then I can do those white tentacles pretty easy. So maybe should we do this in space? Y'all know I love my outer space. I'll put anything in outer space. Oh, thanks, Tiffany. I'll do anything in space. Yeah. The last, if y'all weren't here, well, I won't pull it out right now. So, all right. So let's see. We'll see how that works. All right, and then the body itself, I want them to have these kind of. There's 2 or 3 different kinds, and I look at different ones, but I do like the body where it's kind of like. Oops, sorry guys, I got to remember to pull this down so that y'all can see it. So these are going to be kind of rounded. Let's see, kind of maybe like that. And they get narrower, narrower, narrower as they go around like that. And I can make it. It's my jellyfish. I can do what I want with it. I can make it any color I want. I can do whatever I want. It's like Hi, Terry Snow. Your book went out, by the way, that you won. They do look like a UFO. Yeah, I know. So wouldn't it needs to be in space, right? Don't you think? Don't you think it needs to be in outer space? So something like this, and then and of course we can make it any color we want. It's my party. I can do what I want. Yes, Julie, I'm the boss of my jellyfish. Okay, so now I kind of got it sketched out, so I can go in with some ink. Now, if I do the background, there's 2 things. I could ink the background, or I could just paint the background black with paint, which is cheaper. And then I can pencil on top of it. So I think I'm going to paint the background black, and then I'll ink in the jellyfish with a brush and ink. All right, so let me get something to put around the edges there, so I'm not getting it all over the place. Hang on. A piece of parchment. This is just baking parchment. Sorry, it's kind of loud. Just something to protect my desk a little bit while I paint the background. Okay, so oh, I hear you, baby girl. I know she wants in. I don't know if I could keep her on this side. I wouldn't mind her being in there. And there is a glare right there because I taped 2 papers together, and it bugs me that there's a glare right there. There we go. Anyway, yes, it could be in the he could be in a nebula. Okay, so I'm going to need more paint than that, I think. All right, let me let her in and see how that works out. Otherwise, she'll be meowing at the door for 2 hours. Look out, baby. You almost tripped me up. All right, let's see. A brush here. Oh, I just stay on that side, or you'll have to go back out. Let's see here. All right. All right, so I dampen my brush. All right, now there's a cat shadow. We got a cat shadow. All right, so I want the whole thing to be black, right? You're gonna have to back up now, baby. And once I get the edges done, then I can move the parchment. It's just so I can get all, don't stick your paw in that. Get all the way to the edge. You didn't like that, did you? You don't like the smell of it? Does it smell like plastic or something? And see, because of the paint, I'll be able to do all kinds of little tentacle things and little, small details with pencil because, pencil loves acrylic paint. I'll keep trying to look over at chat in a minute. I think we're okay with the cat shadow. She just likes to be with me. So let me get all the edges, then I'll get in tight with the jellyfish. So that's another thing about the paint. Maybe tonight I'll paint one, but while I was getting interviewed by the Hut. So if y'all didn't hear, the Comic Book Hut is interviewing me tonight on his channel, the Comic Book Hut. Janet did put a link in a minute ago. And at 7 p.m. Eastern. So I'm going to get interviewed by the Hut. And I was going to say I could paint on the scroll, but that's too loud. The scroll is kind of, crunchy sounding. So I don't want to do that. I'll have to find something else to work on while he's interviewing me. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of keep that kind of loose here on the edges. Thank you, Galena. All right, let's go around this side here. And I try not to turn the paper as little as possible, but I might have to a little bit while I'm inking. But we'll see. Look, she's just looking. She's watching my brush. I don't know if you can see her head. Look. Are you hypnotized by the brush, baby girl? So yeah, you could use ink to do this, but then the ink, depending on which kind of ink, could be a little slick, and then you won't be able to do a lot of the pencil work that I want to do. So let's just have a little bit of area in here. All right, there we go. Okay, there we go. Let's make sure I don't have any missed places here. But I'll probably throw on a bucket of stars and some nebulization and all that. So I think I'll do that next. All right, so let's move the paint so that the baby doesn't walk in it. Let me clean my brush. righty, let's see. Yeah, she is cute. I know. That's why she gets away with so much. All right, so let's put some water in my little bucket of stars. And get a floppy brush. Got one of those Japanese brushes here somewhere. I never usually find it when I want it, so I grab whatever. You just need something kind of soft and fluffy. Just something that's gonna flick your paint. Okay, and then you tap it off. I think I need a little bit more water. It's a little thick still. Oh, baby, can't get in the paint. She's looking at it like, what? If you get a blob or something too big, just go back in with the black paint and paint over it. Right? But it does take a minute to dry with the heat gun when I do this because it is a little, blobby. So, and you can also do this. It's so easy in Procreate, like in 2 seconds. Okay, I think that's good for now. Let's put that aside. Let me clean this brush. Now she'll probably want to go when I turn on the heat gun. She's probably going to leave because that's going to freak her. Well, it doesn't really freak her out, but she doesn't like it. Hi, Devin. Anybody else I missed? Joe, Jersey. I think I said hi to Annette. Anybody else I missed? Thanks, everybody, for being here. We're working on a jellyfish. Oh, well, now I can move. There she goes. You see Chippy out the window? We'll go in the window and look out the window. Okay, we'll set that aside. All right, so now it's dry. So I can read chat for a minute while I'm doing this. It takes a minute. She went to sit in the window to look for Chippy the chipmunk. Hi to anybody I missed. Give me a minute. It may not be all of them aren't probably dry, but if I smear any of them, I'll just fix it with black. Let's see. You have a mole in your yard in Caddyshack. Well, Caddyshack was a groundhog, wasn't it? No, yeah. We just have a little chipmunk, and he comes back every year, either that or it's his descendants. But we have a chipmunk, and I feed it sunflower seeds, and the cats love to watch Chippy. And he'll run to the backyard, run to the front yard, run all over. Of course, I have a bird feeder in the front yard, too, they like to watch. So they sit in the front window or at the glass door, and I call it cat TV because they sit there and watch watch the birds and the chipmunk. Let's see. Hi, Gail. Caddyshack was a mole. Okay. It's been a while since I've seen it. I'm going to be honest. So let's see. What color do you think we would like? Y'all have a preference on a color? And then I'm going to get out some ink and start inking as well. I really need a baby wipe to close this because it wants to bubble. Do you have a preference? Pink. We see pink. Got pink, blue. Oh, it's a gopher. Yeah. Well, whatever it was. Anyway. Groundhog, gopher, mole, chipmunk. Whatever. Okay, we got purple, we got teal. I don't know. I'm kind of favoring the pink, actually. I'm kind of favoring the pink. Now, I don't have pink ink, so I have to mix some red and white or something here. Let's see. Let's see, which red do I want? I do have this kind of purple color. That might be a pretty pink with some white ink. I do that. Okay, I've got ink all over me and I'm spilling ink and I'm making a mess. Hang on, guys. That's why I go through so many of these papers here. Oh my gosh. All right, let's see. All right. So let me get something to mix in. Mixing tray. Okay, get some red. I mean, it's kind of a, what is it called? Is it magenta? Red violet. Red violet. Let me just pour some in there. Okay, now let's find a couple of different brushes. Need some little ones here. Let's see, let me get into this. I don't know if I need a liner or not. I might. Because I'm probably going to put those tentacles in there with pencil. All right, let's see. Let's put a little bit of. So we'll start with that. It's kind of, I'm not loving that color of pink though. I might want red. I want more of a red pink. That's kind of a dull pink. I mean, it's okay, but you know what? Let me try another red just to see. Crimson and cherry red. Let's try crimson. I think I like that better. And we're going to do detail with black. This is just a little bit of color in there. I like that better. I like that better than the magenta. All right. So I am going to, it's going to be shaded with, let's see, maybe I can zoom in. It's going to be shaded with pen. So this is just like a base, right? This is just going to be like a base. What is it? I hear you. Now here comes the boy cat. It's just not the color I want. It's too flat. It's too dull. I might have to go with paint, guys. Because look, this is what I want. I want this. I want this bright pink. I want a nice bright pink. This is carousel pink. Let me see. Let me play here. See, look at the difference. It's just so much more vibrant. We're going to roll with that. We're going to roll with this. I'll go side by side so you can see. We'll go ink. We're going to ink on top. We're going to ink on top. See, it's just, I just like it better. I'll have to let that dry a little. It's still a little wet. Whoops. How are we doing in chat, guys? Let's see, Annette. Am I the only one who has seen a flying insect? That's what we're saying. People are saying that's outer space. Y'all know I love me some outer space. I'll put a couple coats on there. Cover up that ink. And then we'll do the shading with inking detail. Let's see. What's Devin saying? Close encounters of the jellyfish kind. Devin. Alrighty. It's not quite, that's more the true color when I kind of tilt it. See there. Might have to, not sure what. I'll just keep rolling for now. Okay. Let's see. Need that a little bit darker. I need a little bit more, maybe just a tiny bit of red. Just need a little bit darker. One shade darker, and I don't want to really add black. Let's see what this does. That'd be too, I think I added too much. Yeah, maybe not. Let's go over there. There we go. Just need a little bit darker. You too, Joe. Thank you for popping in. Is anybody else working on anything creative? If so, what are y'all working on? What are y'all drawing, painting, fabric art, knitting, diamond painting, color booking? What are y'all doing today on hump day? Are y'all starting to open up your state so y'all can get out? Now, I don't know about overseas. I don't know what's going on across the pond. But hopefully y'all start getting out pretty soon. Hopefully getting out pretty soon. Gaga's coloring the basilisk in Mythomorphia. Okay, I don't know what that one is. I'm not sure which creature that one is in Mythomorphia. Gaga. What does it look like? I'm not sure. Okay. It's a massive snake with lots of little ones. Okay. I don't think I've colored that one yet. Probably base coated it, with a wash or something. Okay. And see, I can still see my pen, ballpoint pen through it, which I want because I'm going to be a sketchy. I do it a little sketchy. All right. Let's see here. Okay, Kangaroo Babe is attempting to add doodle started on previous stream. Carla is still working on her Alice diamond painting. Thank you, Jersey. You like the pinks? All right, so I am just going to kind of throw in a little. It's going to have a lot of inking, right? This is supposed to, if I just wanted to paint, I would have done it on the other one, right? All right, so there's a little bit of darks in here. I'm just going to throw in some darks. And then I will throw in the lights, and then we're going to throw in the inks. All right. Let me clean my brush. Go back to the light pink a little bit more. It's kind of flashed out though. Maybe I need to turn down the brightness. Let's see, since I'm so zoomed in. It's a little better. When you zoom in, changes the light. Oh, wow, Sarah. Okay. All right, so let's see. I almost want this. Just want a hint of color. I don't really want to paint it in. I want it just almost just like a little touch of color because the rest is going to be ink. So we'll just kind of leave some areas that are white. Well, I'll probably add white too. I'll probably add white pencil. But I'm just going to throw in a little. Then we'll go in with ink and then go in there with white pencil. We'll see. I'm just, I'm making this up as I go. We're making this up as we go. I'll just kind of have it sketched in. We'll just add the details as we go along. Trying to stay in frame here. Got to work through the uglies. Got to have a base coat. Got to have something to work on top of. Okay, let me hit this with the heat gun. The brush. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. And black doesn't like the camera doesn't like the black, especially when we're zoomed in. But hopefully, as we get further along, okay, needs a little bit more dry. Hang on, there's one more wet thing here. Tracy. Oh, well, you gotta have fun with it, guys. Okay, there's a little bit of red there, or darker pink. There we go. All right, so let's see what we can do now. Let's get the small brush and the black ink. Kangaroos attempting to use watercolor in your doodle. What did Carla say? I missed something Carla said. Yeah, a lot of the girls use watercolor. Tracy, was it Tiffany? Whoever asked about the watercolor. Janet does. A lot of the girls do. Raise your hand if you use watercolor so y'all can talk to. I think it was Tiffany that asked about the watercolor. Yeah, Tiffany. All right, so let's see here. All right, so let's try to stay in camera because I have to keep moving my paper now because I'm zoomed in. All right, I'm going to take this off too because I scratch on the thing here if I don't. All right, let's see here. And I am going to go back in here with my ballpoint pen, my big ballpoint pen. But I'm just going to go in here and get the thickest parts that I want. And then I'll go in and detail it and do shading. Remember, put it in caps if you're talking to me, and I'll keep trying to look over there. I'm trying to think. Tonight at Hut's, when he interviews me, the Comic Book Hut's interviewing me at 7. I will put a link to his channel in my description box. He did an awesome interview. Well, I think he's interviewed Doug TenNapel twice, but he just did another one recently, like the other day. And he does good interviews, so I'm hoping he'll be nice to me. No, I know he'll be fine. Be nice to me, Hut. Now remember, I can put a glow around this with pencil. I can do a lot of things with pencil. Dee Dee will, yeah, thanks, yeah. Let's see. So if y'all are around at 7 o'clock Eastern tonight, all right. So let's see. Let's do a little bit underneath here. I want to do most of it with I'm just trying to get the very thickest parts in here because I really want to get in here with the ballpoint pen and do little sketchy bits in here. Let's get that thinner. Hubster was saying, last night. We're getting ready to eat or go take the cats out or something. He goes, "Don't you have that interview tonight?" And I went, "No, it's on Wednesday." And he goes, "Oh, today's only Tuesday." I'm like, "Yeah, today's only Tuesday." Yesterday that was. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to do some scratchy bits in there. My desk kind of look like the Statue of Liberty. I'm not done yet. We're just working it. We're just working it. Now, let me get some of the thicker inks in here. Most of this is going to be thin, so I don't want to get too crazy with it. We'll see what this turns out like. I like it, guys. We'll see. I might end up going back and just doing it in black and white. But we're gonna play. I'm gonna play for a little bit. Because remember that the nice thing about having this background with paint is I can go in there with pencil. Maybe I'll do a little bit of that first so you can kind of see kind of where it's heading. Okay. All right, that's pretty good. All right, hang on. And just when you think ink's dry, it isn't. So you got to always make sure. All right, let's move that out of the way. So hang on. All right, where's my ballpoint pen? All right. Okay, Pacola. Yeah, I got my juice and my cold coffee. All right, let's see. You want to zoom in some more? Let's see what we can do. All right. So now I want to start playing with my ballpoint pen. And do my scribbles. Do my scribble bits. I don't know if you can see. Am I zoomed in enough? This takes a while. The scribbly bits take a bit. You'll hear the birds out there. Cats running around out in the hall. I don't know how interesting this is going to be because it's going to be a minute. Can y'all see okay? Am I zoomed in? I think I'm probably zoomed in. I mean, I can zoom in more, but I don't want to get so zoomed in that it loses some quality there. Think of something to talk about. Okay, I know what. I'll do a practice. What would, hi Eileen, ask me a question that Hut might ask. Well, you don't know what he will ask, but I'm just saying, if you were interviewing, what kind of questions would you ask? Y'all prep me here. What should, what would an interviewer ask? I got to think of something to talk about while I'm doing this because I can't read chat very well while I'm doing this. I'll look up here in just a minute. What inspired you to get into art? Well, I've always drawn and colored since I was a kid. I think even before I learned how to, although grandma taught me how to read really young. But I think, I was in art in high school and I always drew, but I didn't really, I read more than I drew when I was real young. I read a lot. But I think seeing black and white ink, like comics or anything that was black and white. I always loved inking. Calligraphy, I told y'all I taught myself calligraphy when I was pretty young. Anything black and white, I always just thought was awesome. It was so stark and so dramatic and so contrasty that I loved the black and white, like Aubrey Beardsley and any books I could find in the library to check out because we didn't have bookstores back. I mean, you probably had bookstores like maybe in New York or downtown. You didn't have them in San Antonio, right? just didn't have bookstores on every corner like we have Books a Million, Barnes and Noble, and everything else, right? So, so I had to check everything out of the library, mostly the school library, but every now and then the other libraries too. But those were far away. They were like downtown. I don't really remember how far away the libraries were. I'll have to ask Mom how far the libraries were away, or the library. It was probably only one. I think it was at the mall. For some reason, I'm thinking it was at the mall. And our mall was more like a strip mall back then. It wasn't like we didn't have, the huge malls that there were like in the 80s and the 90s. They were more like a little strip mall indoors with just some little stores in there and little, maybe a little restaurant or something. So I would probably say comics, anything black and white, Aubrey Beardsley, anything like that. Who has inspired your style of art? Well, I don't know that I have a certain style. My collage art is kind of a style, but I do so many different things. See, I do color pencil, and now I've incorporated pan pastel into my portraits. So that I've always done like mixed media. I do what works. I do what works. So if paint, pen and ink, a ballpoint pen, if I think it's going to work, and sometimes it doesn't, but you got to try. Whatever works, more so that I'm not a purist, oh, you only can use watercolor, don't use any white, don't do, I just don't do that. I just use whatever would work. Yeah, I like so you're asking about space themes, space and time. I One of my favorite things to read growing up was science fiction, and I'm talking about the old science fiction like time travel, travel to planets, more so than fantasy. I mean, I just like real science fiction more than like fantasy, like, I don't know. It just, nothing wrong with fantasy, kind of stuff, but unless it's in a game, like it's in a game or something that I like it, but reading it, like, don't put a unicorn on Mars. You know what I mean, Vern? I don't want a unicorn on Mars. That's just me. In a game, it's fun. So anyway, because I always like sci-fi and Heinlein, Asimov, the old sci-fi guys and gals too. But so I think because of that, and I love any of the time travel, and I've just read some. I think I can't remember who, and I know as soon as I start telling the story, everybody's going to go, "Well, who wrote that?" And I won't remember, and maybe one of you will remember if you've read sci-fi. But there was this one story that I read, and I know I've told y'all this already, but I'm going to tell it again. I'm going to tell it again. And so there's this one story, and I can't remember the book, and I don't. It's down on my shelf somewhere, and I swore I was going to go look it up one day, and I forgot. Um, and I did, and I gotta say, I did sell my sci-fi collection when we moved. Um, I had a good offer for my whole sci-fi collection. I mean, I've since collected a few more back, but I sold my whole sci-fi collection at one point we moved. I mean, I had so many books. It was just redonkulous. I had so many books. So somebody offered me a good deal on all my sci-fi books. So I sold them all. I thought, yeah, I can. And this was before I had the internet too. I mean, this was a while back. And I said, well, because we've been in this house 20 years. So it was way before that. It was probably maybe 25, maybe 30 years ago. Anyway, I had a good sci-fi collection. So anyway, there's this one book, and I know I'm going to probably tell it a little different than the last time because I don't really remember it that well. It's been years since I read it, but I love this story. This is the kind of thing that I like. I love time travel, portals, mysteries, anything. That's why I was attracted. I've always liked archaeology and ancient history and prehistory, and just so much about all. I love all that. Are y'all able to see some of this? I hope y'all can see some of this as I'm going along. And so any mysteries like that where there's any kind of incorporating any kind of time travel or anything like that in it, I just really, really like. Okay, so there's this one story book. It was a book, but I don't remember what it is right off the top of my head. And I could probably just Google it and find it real easy, but anyway. So there's I think 3, 4 young people, and they were somehow they found out about some kind of a time portal. And again, I don't remember all the details. I'm just going to get to the meat of the story. And they they were meeting at some warehouse somewhere, and they're going to go test out. And I think there was like 4, 5 of them that were going to go together and travel back in time. And I'll just say this, my favorite Star Trek, the original Star Trek, the 60s Star Trek, my favorite one was City on the Edge of Forever. That was my favorite one, where they go back through that time portal. And I've told y'all that was like the basis for my collage in the alleyway. My collage in the alley was that story. So anyway, yes, baby. Oh, you're bringing me a toy. How nice. Okay, sit down. You're gonna have to lay down. So no, no. All right, you have to get down. You can't go over there by the cords. Nope. Here's your toy. He wants to go by the cords. Always by the cords. So anyway, they go to this warehouse or somewhere where they had this portal, and there was probably some doc there, like Back to the Future. Speaking of, I did pull my picture doc out to show tonight. Here's my doc portrait. There's my doc portrait. Anyway, so something like that probably was at this as that was at this warehouse. So they go back in time. Well, they try to decide where they're going to go. And what could they do? What could they do to like help humanity, help history? What could they do? And I think one of them suggested going back and stopping the assassination of Kennedy. And there was some different options that they were going to do. And finally, they decided on stopping the Titanic from hitting the iceberg. So they said that was what they thought that was the most important thing they could do. If they were going to change history and try to help humanity, let's go stop the Titanic from crashing into the iceberg. Are y'all still with the tour? How's it looking? I'm just doodling here, people. And so or scribbling, I should say. So that's what they decided to do. So they get in this port. I can't remember how many of them. There's 4 or 5 of them. So they go back and they meet the captain, and they're on the ship, and they're researching, was it the radio guy that made the mistake, or what could they do to change it? And they go through all these, half the book, right? Half the book. You're still on the tour bus, Carla? Is about, what they could do. And there's a lot more to this story. It's much better than I'm telling it, right? That's why I like to read it. I didn't write it. And so they do all this stuff to say, well, if we do this at so-and-so day, at so-and-so time. And I think there were like 4 or 5 days ahead of the time that they were going to, it was going to crash. And of course, they had to, not give themselves away. They couldn't let anybody know they're from the future. So anyway, it ends up that, and I don't remember exactly what it was that they did, but they intercepted the radio guy or something. They tried to stop him from going to the radio room or something. I don't remember the exact thing that they did. I know this is horrible, isn't it? But what they did do is they're the ones that caused the Titanic. They're the ones that caused the Titanic to hit the iceberg. Whatever they did, it was their fault. It was their fault the Titanic crashed into the iceberg. So anyway, those are the kind of stories I like. And because it has to do with time travel and sci-fi and all that, I like putting time in my work and space, and I just like it. That's the vibe I like. And just because I study a lot of ancient history and possibilities and what could have happened and pre-civilizations, and were they really smarter? Was there really a civilization that was smarter than we are, that we have no knowledge of because it's no longer around? Have y'all ever thought about that? What if there was what if the pre people, we think, oh, they were Neanderthals and cavemen, and what if they weren't? What if they were really smart? Maybe Neanderthals and all that came after. Just think, make up a story about it. Make up a story about it. Oh, Julie Topaz has an interview question. Oh, wait, why don't you missing trying to change history? Yeah, exactly, Becky. And that's always what happens, like in Heinlein. If you've never read any Heinlein, of course, I like Asimov too, but Heinlein was always my favorite. I loved Heinlein back in those days. Let's see, interview question. What creative endeavors would you still like to explore? Carla asked, do they make this intro into an episode or movie? Sounds familiar. I don't know if they did or not, Carla. There's all kinds of time travel, kind of things. But I don't know about the Titanic one. I don't know. If they did, I don't know that they made a movie out of it, because I just read the book. So let's see. What creative endeavor, is that what you're interested in? What creative endeavor would I like to explore? I have to think about that. I think probably, because I like to write, study, read, I'd probably like to, but I don't do sequential art. Here's my thing. I don't do, like, how comic book art and it's sequential. It's like you have to keep drawing the same thing over and over, the story, and draw a complete story. I would love to write the story, but I don't know that I would want to illustrate a whole book, but maybe something in that vein. And I don't want to say children's books, because I'm really not interested in children's art, children book illustration. But I can envision a lot of stories, and I write down notes about things and sketch things out. I can sketch out little scenarios and little stories that I can imagine. But I don't really want to I don't want to have to draw the whole book. I'd want to draw like the one character and one setting, but I don't want to draw the whole book. Do you know what I mean? So I wouldn't mind having a book or a story illustrated with the stories in my head, but I don't want to have to illustrate them, because it's just too time consuming. It would be, for me, too much the same thing over and over. I don't want to draw the same character over and over and over again. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love me some comic art, love me that sequential art. I love to read it and look at it and follow. I love it, but I don't want to draw it. I don't want to draw that much of the same thing. But maybe something like that. I have a lot of stories in my head, but I don't want to have to, and that probably sounds weird, being an artist. You don't want to draw your own stories? No, I don't really want to draw. And then people go, well, why don't you do a color book? Because, you could do, you could draw, your art could be I don't want to spend a year drawing one color book. Ask Laura or C.L. Aldridge or some of the girls that do color books. And don't get me wrong, they are amazing. I love them. I buy them. I color in them. I don't want to spend a year making one. I got too many other things I like to do. I got too many things I like to do to just spend on one project. So that's just me. So if I had to say what kind of, some kind of artistic goal thing would I like, it would be, now I've got to kind of decide here. This has got to be kind of divided up into a few different legs, if you will. So I've got to kind of decide here where I want these to break. Not break the legs, but where they have a break in the pattern there. Like that. So that would be it. There's Christine. There she is. See, right, Christine? It takes a long time to do. Now, after you do a few, maybe you get faster at it, but still, it takes a long time. Let's see. Any more questions? Okay. What if they ask if you got a life motto? It would be to inspire, to encourage. Encouraging people to try things, to start things, to not be afraid. That would be because I don't consider myself a teacher. And I know, I think people misunderstand. When I say I'm not a teacher, that doesn't mean I don't teach you anything. Doesn't mean you don't learn anything from me. That's not what I mean. But I think a teacher has special abilities, skills, and patience. And I'm more of a, let's get started now. Let's get going. Let's get crack-a-lacking. But don't make me teach you how to do an oil painting from start to finish. It ain't happening. Just saying. So I would say I want to, and I like to encourage people, get them started. You can do it. You can try. Don't be afraid. That's my kind of mission in life. That's kind of my mission in life, rather than teaching you anything, right? Jane, have you read anything? Christopher Cartwright. Ooh, I think so. I maybe, but I'm going to write that down again. And I'm going to be honest. I don't read as much fiction as I used to. Wait a minute. Let me find. No, there's some. So I'm on a post-it notes. Okay, so okay, I'm writing that. I'm writing that down, Jan. Archaeology mysteries. I'll look that up. I don't. I don't. I don't read a lot of nonfiction as much as I used to. I guess maybe because I haven't found anything lately. I mean, you've seen me, my British mysteries. I've read a lot. I read a lot of, well, used to. I don't read as much as I used to. My British mysteries, police mysteries, and I don't like them too bloody and gory. Then there was the book. Maybe if y'all want, I'll go get a few of my mysteries because I know it's been a while since I've shown them some of my favorites. The Bookman's Wake, and I like any kind of mystery about books, book hunting, book snakes. I'll go get some of my books I'll take a break and go get some of my books and show you some of them. But I don't really read them that much anymore. I'm reading so much nonfiction lately and history that I don't read as much mysteries or as much fiction as I used to. And I guess because some of it just hasn't caught me, it just hasn't grabbed me like some of the other ones used to back in the day. So I want a lot of little veiny bits here. So how's it look? I don't know. I just like to scribble, I guess, here. You show us what's possible and then encourage and inspire. Yeah, that's kind of what I like to do, Christine. That's really what I like to do. Tracy said teaching is 99% inspiration and inspire all of us. Well, thanks. That's nice. But I think that teachers are able to build the skills one upon another. They'll take the basic building blocks and build and build and build upon those skills and, you know, how to do whatever it is that they're teaching. And it takes time, it takes patience. And I just don't do that. I mean, I don't want to say I don't have any patience, but, it's just not. I'm just not a teacher, and I just know I'm not a teacher. I'm an inspirer, an encourager kind of person. So yeah. All right, here comes the other baby. Yes, I see you. Oh, it's the boy again. Here he is. So anyway, let me try to stay in frame here. Now all these are going to be kind of wavy little legs, if you will. We're going to have little wavy legs all in here, and then there's going to be like kind of a little bit of shadow in between them here. And then I'll go in here with white and add more detail and stuff and make these a little fluffier. Let me just try to do one little strand here. And then I'll go in there and so you can see. See, here's an example. So I want y'all to know how I'm doing something. But as long as you see a part of it, I don't care to finish. I don't care if I finish the whole thing. I want you to know how to do that. I want you to know how to do that technique, and then once I show you the technique, then I feel like, well, you don't have to see the whole thing done. You know what I mean? Yeah, I get the idea. And that's makes me happy. You get the idea, I mean, I do finish things for myself, but that's mostly my my portraits, right? Pets and people portraits are what I do complete, and that I do that for other people. So, but yeah, I'll go down and pull out a few of my fiction books because I got to go get something to drink anyway, so we can take a break. So I want a little bit of shadow separating these. I'll have a little bit of a shadow separating. And see, I'm going to take some white paint and go on top of this and make these little fluffy bits. And then I can also, let me get a Posca just to show you. See, I just want to show you how to do it. Where's my white Posca? Where'd it go? I just had it. I was just using it this morning. There we go. And then what I'll do is, because there's all these, let me take this out. So we'll have all this stuff going on. But I can't really do too much of this because a lot of it's going to go over the top of this, right? And then, of course, they'll be down here in the bottom, too. See? See what I mean, Vern? And then what I'm going to do, let me just get a little bit done right in here so you can kind of see where I'm heading in this area. Let me just get a little bit of shadow going on in here. Because then what I want to do is in between here, let me see, let me get a flat brush. See if I got enough white paint right there. So what I'll want to do, and I could do some of this with the Posca too, is I'm going to do these little fluffy areas, little, like it's kind of fluted like. See, something like that. And then I can go back in there with the ink too. So once that's dry, maybe I should do this first because I'm kind of going over some of my work. I could probably do it in one swipe instead of two swipes. All right, let me dry this and see if the cat goes flying off the table. No, he's still sitting there. Might take two coats because I've already put the ink on there. But what I want to do, let's go ahead and go back in there again. I got water in my brush. Hang on. Let me get the water out of my brush. Just put a little more white paint out. It's probably better if I do this first and then go in there with the ink. Because otherwise I'm going to have to be covering up the ink twice, and I don't want to do that. Don't want to cover up the ink twice. So these are going to all be little edge. They're going to all have these little edges on them like this, right? Well, he's settling in there. So you can kind of see where it's kind of looking like that. I don't want to cut. I could go back in there with the pink too. I don't want to lose all my pink, but I want all this fluffy bits. And then I can divide it with the shading with the ink rather than going back over the top of it. I think that would probably be better. See, it's a work in progress. We just working it, doing it as we go, and all these different legs. So you can kind of see. Let me back out. Maybe, let's see. Let's take a minute to back out. So you see the big picture, including the cat. Okay, so you can kind of see how we're doing it. And then I'm also going to have, let's see. So then I'm also, well, let me dry that because I'll put my hand right in it. Well, it's going to have more pink and stuff back in it. It looks kind of black and white now, but there's going to be some more pink in there. I have to go back in and paint it back in. but because I decided not to do black and white, right? All right, and then I'm going to have, it's going to be highlights. See, I can do this because I'm on top of paint. I'll hold it up because I know since I've zoomed out, you probably can't see it. There's a baby. You're playing with my pencils now. Something like this. See how it's got some white on the top? And then if I want, I can do like a glow. Because it's going to be in space, right? And there'll be nebulas and planets and maybe, you know, like shooting star or something, you know. But anyway, so yeah, I'm looking forward to doing the interview with Hut. See a little bit of the glow there. And the same thing is when I come around here, see I can do more of that little detail around there, and I can do more light, softer tentacle things coming down with the pencil. Let's see. What pencil do you like best? Prismacolor. Prismacolor pencils. I have a lot of different kinds, and I like a lot of different kinds, but Prismacolors and me grew up together. They just grew up together. All right, so you're kind of seeing the idea here, right? And I do want more. Like I want some of this darker in here. I could probably just go in there with black paint, ink on the brush. And you can shade all different kinds of ways. I like the scribble. I like the scribbly look. Like if y'all saw my Inktober's, which I did pull out some Inktober's to show tonight. In case I don't know what to do, I'll just show my old art. Hut can just go, well, what do you like to do? I like to do this, Hut. I can show some of my art. You know, so we'll see how that goes. But I am looking forward to it. I really am. It'll be something different. You know, something different, something fun. And then down in here, I'll have more shading. So I'm just kind of scribbling, but you can do different kinds of like, you can shade by, well, I can't do it on the parchment. You can get a piece of something paper, just a regular piece of paper. Got a whole room full of paper. I'm trying to find a scrap. Isn't that always the way? Okay. And I'll take a quick break and I'll go show you some of my fiction books. So you can do scribble shading like this. This is my favorite because you can do light and dark, especially with the ballpoint pen. Well, let me see. Hang on. So you can do scribble shading like this. Okay, you can do cross hatching. And you can do it light and dark with the ballpoint pen. That's what I like about it. So you can get light and dark. So you can shade like this. So, you know, if you want it neater, I just like the scribbly look. I just like the way that looks. But, you know. I've never had any of my Prisma that I've seen, and have some from 30 years that have not faded. So I don't know. I know some people say that Prismacolor are not archival, but I haven't had any fade in 30 years. So yeah. And also, guys, I gotta say, when I'm doing my portraits, all right, let's back out again. They're mixed media. Okay. Like I said, I'm starting to use more pan pastel in my portraits now. But for instance, this little dog that I just did this yesterday. So it's not like, and I just did it as a memorial for Mark Levin. It's not really, I don't know. It's not a full on portrait, like close up of the face, like I did for my mom for her birthday. But what I start out with is I start with a base of like acrylic paint, and then I go the pencil on top, and then I put pan pastel, and then more pencil. So it's like 4 layers of stuff. And that may not be a good example because it's so I don't know that I have anything else with pan pastel that I can show you in person, because all the portraits that I've done, commission portraits with pan pastel, they have the original. So I can't show you an original that has pan pastel, but I can show you different ones. Like here's these are from my Walking Dead fan art. Here's Glenn and Daryl, and there's like the base of the clothes right there has some acrylic paint under, and then pencil on top. The hair has acrylic paint and pencil on top. Now the faces are all pencil. There's not any pan pastel in this. Although if I did them now, then I would probably use pan pastel, right? Oh, thanks, Julie. So that's all pencil in the face. It's got pencil on top of acrylic black and brown color paint. Same thing here. So you can see this is all pencil. Some base coat of acrylic paint with pencil on top. Some clothes you can see there's paint right there. And then pencil on top. And then his whole face is pencil. So yeah. Now, if I was going to do these now, I would add pan pastel. So yeah. So that's just a couple of my fan art. Here's a smaller one. This is the guys from Oak Island. This is a smaller one. You know, the brothers, the 2 brothers from Oak Island. That's the same thing. Their little shirts have some paint and the base of their hair, and then pencil on top, and then their faces, their faces are all pencil. But now I would probably do more pan pastel. Let me find out. Here's another one. Here's Nichelle Nichols, Star Trek. And I've shown these so many times. And if y'all want to see more of them, you can look on my Instagram if you want to see them close up. I need to get some juice. I'll go downstairs here in a second. Cold coffee is not going to work. But these are some of my fan art here. So when I do portraits when I do commissions, they get the original. Here's Yaya Han. Y'all know who Yaya Han, the cosplayer, is? These are some Yaya Han. They get the original. So if you want to see some more of the ones that I photographed and then sent the original, you can look on my Facebook albums and divide it up by different types of art: pets, people, fan art, the Gold Rush crew. I drew like 25 of the Gold Rush crew over the years, but they're on Instagram, and Facebook. There's one of my Leonard Nimoy, there's one of my Spock, young and old Spock. So yeah, so I pulled a few out. I do some fan art for Hubster, like this is Robert Mitchum. Um, so yeah. So I pulled a few of these out to show on Hut's interview tonight, along with some of my favorite comic book, what do you call it, campaigns that I bought, and like the Doug Tenable books. What else did I pull to show? Anyway, so I have some things to show tonight. Okay, thanks, Tiffany. I'll try. If I don't follow you, then I'll go find you too. All right, let me go. Let me take a quick break, guys. Give me a minute. Let me get something to put here. Hang on. We'll leave you with Bob and Bob Ross and Andy Warhol. I'll leave you with them for just a minute. I'm going to close the door so the cats don't get in because I'll never see these again. If the cats find these, oh, it's going to be on the Comic Book Hut. One of the girls can put the direct link. They were putting it earlier, and in YCA. I will. There's Pacola just put it in. I will put it in my description box after this video. All right, so give me 5 minutes. Out some of my favorite fiction books for you guys. Okay, so I'll be right back. Yeah. All right, let me go take this cold coffee. All right, I'll be right back, guys. Just give me a minute. Behave. Y'all behave while I'm gone. Okay, hang on. I got 2 armloads. Hang on. Okay. Up and down the steps. Oh. Okay, so we're still with the tour, guys. So let me catch my breath. So I only brought a couple nonfictions the kind of books I like to read, because I told you I was going to bring out some fiction. So, all right, catching my breath. I went up and down the stairs 3 times. Getting my steps. All right. So I brought about maybe 4 different authors. 4 or 5 different authors. And I only brought 2 or 3 of each book because I have multiples. Now, I do love my Cadfael. If y'all remember, the Cadfael mysteries, but I've talked about him a whole bunch, so I'm not going to show Cadfael right now. So, 2 of my favorite women authors, and I only brought 3 of the books, or 2 or 3 of each kind, of each one. Lori R. King. I love Sherlock Holmes. I love mysteries. I love Sherlock Holmes. I love science fiction. I love archaeology. Anyway, so Lori R. King, make sure when you look her up, you put the R in there, because there's another Lori King that's not, probably, well, maybe you would. But anyway, Lori, you want to put that R in there when you're looking her up. It's Sherlock Holmes' wife. If Sherlock Holmes had gotten married, these are the stories of Sherlock and his wife. And I think, no, this isn't the first one. Let's see. And there's a lot of them. The Beekeeper's Apprentice is the first one. So if you read any of these, they're Mary Russell and Sherlock Holmes. If you read any of these, you want to try to read The Beekeeper's Apprentice first. The other ones you can read out of order. I mean, you always like to read them in order, but you want to read The Beekeeper's Apprentice first, because it kind of sets the scene of how they met and everything like that. You bought it for your sister-in-law? You have to read it too? Yeah. So, I didn't bring up The Beekeeper's Apprentice. This one is further down. That maybe this one is the oldest one of the ones I just picked off the shelf. They're not in any kind of order. But they're Mary Russell novels. She also has other ones. So make sure that they're Mary Russell and Sherlock Holmes, because she writes other stories, other series as well. So if you want to make sure you get you want to make sure and get the Mary Russell ones. Okay, so let's see. And I follow her on Twitter. Let's see what it says here. Well, I don't want to put addresses out there. I'll just read a little bit of this one. In the second day of the year, in the second day of the new year, 1924, and Mary Russell is setting in for a much-needed rest with her husband, Sherlock Holmes. But the fragile peace will be fleeting, for a visit with Holmes' gravely ill brother, Mycroft, brings news of an intrigue that is sure to halt their respite. Mycroft, who has ties in the highest levels of the government, has just received a strange package. The oilskin wrapped packet contains the papers of a missing English spy named Kimball O'Hara, and indeed the same Kimball who served as the inspiration for Kipling's famed Kim, an orphaned English boy turned loose in India. Kim long used his cunning to spy for the crown, but after inexplicably withdrawing from the great game of border espionage, he's gone missing and is feared taken hostage or even killed. When Russell learns of Holmes' own secret friendship with Kim some 30 years before, she knows the die is cast. She will accompany her husband to India in search for the missing operative. But even before they arrive, danger will show its face in everything from a suspicious passenger on board their steamer to an accident that nearly claims their lives. Once in India, Russell and Holmes must travel incognito. No small task for the English lady and her lanky companion. But after a twist of fate forces the couple to part ways, Russell learns that in this faraway place, it's often impossible to tell friend from foe, and that some games must be played out until their deadly end. So it's Sherlock Holmes and his wife. So anyway, and there's tons of them. I 25 of them, maybe 20, 25 of them. I just grabbed 3. So that's one. Okay, then, and again, I only pulled 2. Martha Grimes, and you want to make sure to get the Richard Jury Mysteries. Richard Jury Mysteries. He is a Scotland Yard detective, and all her books. Now, again, she also has different series, so you want to make sure and get the Richard Jury series, the Richard Jury Mysteries, right? And I don't remember the first one. The Man with the Load of Mischief. All her books are named after pubs. I don't know if they're all real, but they're all named after pubs in England. Okay. The Blue Lass, the Case Has Altered. These are names of pubs, made up or real, in England. So he's a Scotland Yard detective. They all take place in, well, he travels around, but he's a Scotland Yard detective. I love me some Martha Grimes Richard Jury Mysteries. They're so good. They're so good. Maybe I should read just an inside cover of one. Y'all want to hear a little excerpt from it? Hi, Whimsical One. Are we tour, guys? We went from the art to this. Okay. The Lincolnshire Finns are the perfect setting for a mystifying double murder in Martha Grimes' new Richard Jury case. A setting hardly likely to take Sergeant Wiggins' mind off his sinuses, off his pills, and his bromines. You know, well, anyway, I want to explain the characters. The landscape volunteers nothing, as if to say, you're on your own, mate. Much like the habitus of the only pub for miles around, called The Case Has Altered. That's the name of the pub. Jury finds it is a landscape that resists revealing its secrets when the body of a woman is found on the wash, and 2 weeks later, the body of another woman is found floating in a canal in Windy Fen. Both women are connected with the Fingate estate. One, a kitchen maid there. The other, the ex-wife of the owner, Max Owen, a man with a passion for antiques. A number of people who attended the dinner party the night of the Mrs. Owen, was murdered. And then they named all the sculptor, the melancholy wife. There's all these different people. Since the case officially belongs to the Lincolnshire police, jury needs someone inside Fingate, someone who can impersonate an antiques expert, someone like Melrose Plant. So Melrose Plant is his best friend who's like filthy rich, and he always helps him on his cases. Melrose Plant. Another member of Martha Grimes' cast is deliciously eccentric characters. Jury's interest in this case is personal, for the principal suspect is Jenny Kennington, a woman who has stood at the periphery of Jury's life for years and whom he now wants in it. With the Finns and the North Sea as its somber backdrop, The Case Has Altered is an affecting story that is by turns crushingly and wonderfully funny, and that again confirms Grimes' status as one of the established masters of the genre. So anyway, Martha Grimes, Richard Jury Mysteries. All right, then. Of course, anybody that watches Outlander, Diana Gabaldon, I like the books more than the series. I know a lot of y'all love the series, Outlander. When they started torturing Jamie, I said, I'm not into this anymore. I mean, I read all the books, so I know what happens to him in the books, but I didn't want to see it. So anyway, but they're big, thick books, and they're so detailed. I mean, every little detail. Now, here's what I was attracted to Diana Gabaldon's books, because it's time travel. Okay. Claire goes through those circle stones in, what's the name of the town? I can see it in my head. I can't think of the name of the town. She goes through those circle stones and goes back in time. So it's all time travel, right? You have them all too? Yeah. That's a time travel. So that's what attracted me to Voyager back. I don't know when the first one came out, 1989, 1990. Is that when Outlander, the first book came out was Outlander. Voyager, I think, is the second one. No, Dragonfly and Amber is the second one. Outlander, Dragonfly and Amber, then Voyager. And I think there's about 12. Inverness. Yeah. Thank you. And so anyway, it's a time travel, historical time travel. So that's what attracted me to it. But I watched the first 2 seasons. I even got the Stars Network or whatever it's called. Subscribe, paid on cable to get it, to watch it. But then when they tortured Jamie, that was it for me. And I read it in the book. I knew exactly what was going to happen. But I didn't want to see it. I canceled and I haven't watched anything since. I've read the books. I know what happens. So anyway, but I really like the books. So Diana Gabaldon, the Outlanders, time travel. The other one that I like is David Liss. And he probably has some new books out now. I have this one. I have 5 copies of this. I have 5 copies. When I found this, and they're all first editions. So when I found that these first editions were on clearance at, I don't even know what book, but I got them for $5.97. I bought the first one full price when it first came out, but then I found first editions for $5.97, so I bought 4 more. But anyway, so A Conspiracy of Paper. Let me read you what this one is. Again, very detailed. I love detailed books. I know, right, Molly? So I just, it's the same thing with The Walking Dead, though. Like you saw the pictures that I started drawing. I was going to draw all the Walking Dead. I was going to fan art all the Walking Dead characters. But when they killed Glenn, Negan killed Glenn the way he did, that was the last episode I ever watched of Walking Dead. Now I read the updates and I read what's going, it's not like I'm completely in the dark, whatever happened. But I stopped watching it. I stopped watching it at Glenn. Yeah. So anyway, okay. So the historical thriller of the year. What year did this come out? I don't even remember. And he may have more books out now. This came out in, what year is it? 2000. Okay, this came out in 2000. He probably has a lot more books out. And maybe, I don't know. I haven't kept up with him. But I loved his writing back from 2000. I think this was the first one. Let me see. Yeah. I think this was the first one I read. A Conspiracy of Paper in 2000. 20 years ago. Okay. So the historical thriller of the year, Benjamin Weaver. I'm going to skip the, look how good the book is kind of thing. Benjamin Weaver is an outsider in 18th century London, a Jew among Christians, a ruffian among aristocrats, a retired pugilist who, hired by London's gentry, travels through the criminal underworld in pursuit of debtors and thieves. In A Conspiracy of Paper, Weaver investigates a crime of the most personal sort, the mysterious death of his estranged father, a notorious stock jobber. To find the answers, Weaver must contend with a desperate prostitute who knows too much about his past, relatives who remind him of his alienation from his Jewish faith, and the cabal of powerful men in the world of British finance who have hidden their business dealings behind an intricate web of deception and violence. Relying on brains and brawn, Weaver uncovers the beginning of a strange new economic order based on stock speculation, a way of life that poses great risk for investors but real danger for Weaver and his family. In the tradition of the alienist, and written with scholarly attention to period detail, A Conspiracy of Paper is one of the most wittiest, most suspenseful historical novels in recent memory, as well as a perceptive and beguiling depiction of the origin of today's financial markets. In Benjamin Weaver, author David Liss has created an irresistibly appealing protagonist, one who parlays his knowledge of the emerging stock market into a kind of detective work. I love this. And then this one right here is A Spectacle of Corruption. Well, I don't know if you want me to read all that, but anyway, David Liss, those are that's another one of my favorite authors. And again, it's been a while. I don't know if he's got new ones out. Then I love these. Now, I don't even know if John Dunning is still alive, and I don't think I brought up the first one. The Bookman's Wake is the second one. Okay, so these are called, The Book to Die is the first one. The Bookman's Wake is the second one, and they're Cliff Janaway series, and I think there's only 5. I think there's only 5 in this series. And Cliff Janaway, the person the books are written about, is a retired detective who bought a bookstore. I love anything about bookstores. Bookshops, libraries, book snakes, book hunting, anything about books. Am I losing y'all? Or are y'all okay? So anyway, Cliff Janaway is the detective, and John Dunning's the author. And I don't even remember when the first Book to Die came out. This one came out. This is the second one, 1995. So I think the first Book to Die must have been around 1992 or 3. Maybe, I don't remember. But this was the second one. I don't even remember the way they're set, But they're all Cliff Janaway novels. Janaway. Cliff Janaway? Janaway. Anyway, Janaway or Janeway. Anyway, so he's a retired detective. All right, so y'all ready to hear a little bit? Read People of the Book. Yeah, I think I have that actually, NYCA. Okay. Denver's rare bookman, Cliff Janaway, is back. Rarely does a book inspire such critical praise and word-of-mouth excitement as did John Dunning's first Cliff Janaway novel, Book to Die. Hailed both for the power of its writing and for its revelations of the arcane but absorbing world of rare books, Book to Die has itself become a treasured find in the collectible book market. Now John Dunning has surpassed Book to Die with a richly nuanced novel that is sure to take him to an even more exalted level of acclaim. The story starts and ends aptly with a book, a very special book, the 1969 edition of Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven, published by the tiny, prestigious Grayson Press of North Bend, Washington. No bibliography mentions the 1969 edition, if it indeed exists. It could be worth a fortune to the right collector. It's the kind of book somebody might kill for. In fact, somebody probably already has. Ex-Denver cop Janaway is happily at work selling rare and used books when one day a former police colleague, Clydell Slater, arrives with an offer. Janaway never did much care for Slater, and he doesn't like him any better now. But Slater's proposal is intriguing. Slater runs a detective agency and he wants Janeway to go to Seattle to pick up a young woman fugitive and deliver her to her bail bondsman and a district court in Taos, New Mexico. The woman is wanted for burglary and assault. She may also have stolen a copy of the 1969 Grayson Press Raven when she ransacked a Taos house. The rare book angle gets to Janaway every time. He could say no to a $5,000 fee, even though the money could buy him some special books. But he couldn't turn down a chance to find the hitherto unknown copy of The Raven. And it goes on, but you get the idea. So anyway, there's 5, I think, in total. And I haven't looked him up lately. I don't know. I hope he's still alive, but I don't know if John Dunning is still alive or not. So anyway, Book to Die. Yeah. Then the last ones I brought up were just a couple of books about books that I like that they're not fiction. Kate Morton's one, yeah. So these two, Nicholas Basbanes and his wife, these are 2 of the, I think I have 4 of his books. And A Gentle Madness is Bibliophiles, Bibliomanes, and the Eternal Passion for Books. And it's a beautiful book just in itself, right? And let's see what year this came out. This came out in 1995. And he's written, I think I got 4 or 5 books by him. And then this one is Patience and Fortitude, which are the names of the 2 lions outside of is it the New York Library? I think is the where those lions are. So these are the 2 books they're books on books by Tiffany. And so in A Gentle Madness, these are now, of course, nonfiction. The passion to possess books has never been more widespread than it is today. Indeed, obsessive book collectors remain the only hobby to have a disease named after it. A Gentle Madness is an adventure among the afflicted. It combines the perspective of historical research with the immediacy of investigative journalism. Above all, it is a celebration of books and the people who have revered, gathered, and preserved them over the centuries. Author Nicholas Basbanes, a dedicated bibliophile himself, begins his book 2,200 years ago in Alexandria, when a commitment was made to gather all the world's knowledge beneath one roof. In a series of lively chapters, the continuum then passes through the Middle Ages, the Renaissance, to the 20th century, with a special emphasis on book lore and book culture in Great Britain and North America. In the second half of A Gentle Madness, Basbane offers a gallery of revealing profiles of living collectors and presents exclusive examinations of the great contemporary stories, the rare book thefts of Stephen Bloomberg's institutional bibliomania at the University of Texas, the mystery man who used 17 million of another person's money to gain recognition as the greatest book collector alive. These are just a few of the stories detailed for the first time. The book also includes the most comprehensive bibliography on book collecting compiled in more than a quarter of a century. And then this one is Patience and Fortitude. In 1995, well, then he talks about this book. Now, in Patience and Fortitude, Basbanes continues his discursive adventures among the gently mad, expanding his focus to probe the more comprehensive concept of book culture. Visiting many key book places around the world, he talks with a striking variety of kindred spirits, each one a living testament to the unending relevance of the essential artifacts in our lives. Drawing its title from the unofficial names, the unofficial names of the marble lions that guard the New York Public Library on Fifth Avenue in Manhattan, Patience and Fortitude explore the changing form of the book over the centuries and discusses the nature of the institutions that have evolved to contain them, including academic, public, private, and national repositories. And it goes on. But anyway, those 2 there. And then this one is called Book Row, Marvin Mondlin. Let's see, this one's not that as old. I got this one just maybe a couple years ago. Well, 2003. I got this one a couple of years ago. John Dunny is still alive at 78. Okay, thank you, Ray. Okay. All right. This one's called Book Row. Let's see if my voice can hold out for one more paragraph. Okay. New York City. Hang on. Let me take another sip of juice. Okay. New York City builds history on its streets, and every corner has its story. This one unfolds just south of 14th Street in Manhattan, mostly on the 7 blocks of 4th Avenue, bracketed by Union Square and Astor Place. There, for nearly 8 decades, from the 1890s to the 1960s, thrived a bibliophile's paradise. They called it New York Booksellers Row, or more commonly, Book Row. It's an American story, the story that this richly anecdotal historical memoir amiably relates. As American as the rags to riches tale of the Strand, which began its life as a mere bookstall on 8th Street and today houses in excess of 2.5 million volumes or 16 miles of books on 12. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that closed since this was written. I could be wrong. I don't remember. Its story cast with characters as legendary and colorful as the horse-betting, poker-playing go-getter of a book dealer, George D. Smith, or the irrecyclable Russian-born book hunter, Peter Stammer, or the visionary Theodore C. Schultz, or the Wavericks twins. I'm probably not pronouncing these names right. And the Brussels brothers, and it goes on and names a whole bunch more people. Book Row remembers names and places that all lovers, readers, buyers, sellers, and collectors of books should never forget. And then names a whole bunch of the different bookshops right there. The last of the 4th Avenue bookshop stores to close its door, I guess, was the Abbey Bookshop. So anyway, yeah. So there's the authors there. So anyway, that's the little story, or this is a book about Book Row in New York. So those are some of the books about books. And again, I just brought down a few, or brought up a few. Hi, Judy. So anyway, this is what we were working on. Let's see, we've been here a little over 2 hours. Do you have any more questions? Ask me one more question about what an interviewer might ask, so I can be prepared for my interview with the Comic Book Hut, or as I call him, Hut. I just call him Hut. But so I'm going to be interviewed tonight on the Comic Book Hut at 7 p.m. Eastern on the Comic Book Hut's channel. So I did pull out some art and I got to find something to work on while I'm being interviewed, because I like to talk and work. Do I enjoy rabbit trails? Is that a trick question, Yvonne? Do I enjoy rabbit trails? Where's my little cartoon from Sharon L? Where is that thing? It should be sitting right here. It is. Dee Dee says to watch out for you. Rabbit Trail 1 and Rabbit Trail 2. Where do I see myself in 10 years? Well, I don't know. I am very much a live in today kind of person. I'm always trying to move forward, live in today, keep going forward. I'm not one to look back and think back and get sad. I'm always trying to look forward, look for the, something new to learn, to read, to draw, to discover, new people to meet, most always online. I've been online in chat rooms and stuff since the early 90s, starting with Merck, IRC, and, AOL. I don't even remember what those chats were named. No, they weren't IRC. IRC, I think. I don't remember. Anyway, so most of my friends are online. Why and when did you start your channel? I started it on High Maverick. I started it almost 10 years ago, and I started on Ustream. So I streamed on Ustream for about 4 years, and I've been on YouTube for almost 6. And the reason I started is I saw Artistic Biker Blade. That's his name, Artistic Biker, because he was a biker. He's still, I don't know if he still is a biker, but anyway. And he did art, and he had a Ustream channel. And I came across him, Julie Topaz, who is now one of my mods. There she is right there, Topaz Pearl Girl, and I Carry Love. Those three, and Vicky BR in Baton Rouge. Those were the first 4 people I met on Ustream almost 10 years ago. And I said, I want to try this. I think I like to do that. So I got a little cheap webcam. I think it was probably $39 at the time. I don't even remember, $29. And plugged it into my laptop. And I set my camera up on one of these big, it wasn't even a tripod. It's like a presentation stand, like a metal presentation stand. And I had a bar across and hung down with my camera. It hasn't changed much, although now I'm using a yardstick instead of the. If y'all haven't seen my IG little video, go look at it's my most recent post on Instagram. A little video that I made of how my arm of my camera is hung up here. So anyway, I said, I'm going to try this. So if I could meet any artist dead or alive, it would be probably Da Vinci and Salvador Dali. Those would probably be the 2 that I'd want to meet. Da Vinci first and Salvador Dali. So anyway, I plugged my camera in, didn't know what I was doing. Went to Ustream and just, kind of followed some directions. And the first video I did were some little ATCs, 2.5 by 3.5. And I had 2 friends that are not streamers. They're just 2 online friends that I have. And I asked them to come watch my show just to see how it was going to go. Because that's all. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anybody in the streaming world. So, hi, Lady Jan. And so I asked them to be there. So I had 2 people in my first stream, and I did these art cards. And y'all know, and I've told this story before, I talk loud, I talk fast, and I talk loud. And so I was kind of worried that I was going to talk too loud. I didn't know how to regulate. And I just used the mic on my camera. I didn't have a separate mic or nothing. And I was kind of afraid I was going to talk too. And the kind of paint and the kind of pencil and the kind of paper I was using. And I talked real quiet and real slow. And my friends asked me, oh, I won't say what they said, but they want why I was talking like. So after that, I just figured, you know what? Everybody can turn down their microphones themselves. Just turn down your own volume. If I talk too loud, you can just turn it down. But anyway, so that's how I started streaming. So I streamed on Ustream for 4 years. Then when Ustream kind of really went non-individual, it was going to just do like IBM and NASA, and I think they started charging $100 a month minimum to stream on Ustream. And then Jean and some of the others, Julie and some of the others go, you need to go over to YouTube. You need to go start putting your stuff on YouTube. So I started putting some of the videos. Before I left Ustream, I started uploading some of them to YouTube. And then I just moved right over to YouTube. And I just pretty much just do live. I don't do a lot of recordings. I mean, I'll do a couple from a store, a haul, or, I've done a few videos, just videos. But for me, the fun is being here live with you guys. That's right. And ah, thanks, Yvonne. And yeah, well, kind of, yes, because I don't know what he's going to ask me, Yvonne. That's why I asked y'all to ask me some questions, because I don't know what Hut's going to ask me. So I'll be prepared to, trust me, I can repeat a story 10 times in 2 hours. Doesn't bother me at all. But I don't know what he's going to ask me. So I thought, well, y'all ask me a couple questions to see, because I don't know what he's going to ask me. So my favorite movie. I have a few. I love different movies for different reasons. Like I love Hitchcock's Rear Window because it's a mystery. I love Where Eagles Dare. It's a World War II with Richard Burton. It's a spy movie. Because, see, you got to remember, when I was growing up, I wanted to be James Bond. I wanted to be an archaeologist, or I wanted to be James Bond. That time traveled. A time-traveling James Bond. That's what I wanted to be when I was a kid. If you couldn't do art, what would you do? Probably research, Claire. Some kind of research. I love history. I love research. I love writing. When I went back to college in my 30s, oh my gosh, you should see the composition, not the composition, the spiral bound notes I kept. I was not going to have anything other than a 4.0. Now, that being said, I will qualify that with one subject. But I love to read. I love to research. I love to write and take notes. I could fill notebook and notebook and notebook with research. Love research. And I love learning. So when I went back to college, because, I've moved 30 times in my life. My dad was in the military and I married the military. So we moved every couple of years. And so anyway, when I went back to college in my 30s, where was I going with this? Sorry, I went on 3 I only can go on 4 rabbit trails, and then I get lost in the in the trails. Writing, I'm backing up. Beep, beep, beep. Writing, researching. What was I going to say? Yeah, Where Eagles Dare is a good movie. So that's what I would do. I would do research. Yeah, that's what I would do. I would do research. There was another little sidebar to that, but I can't remember what it is now. Yeah, I can do about 4 rabbit trails, and then I have to back up that bus, or I'm going to forget where I was going. Okay. Yeah, except for the one topic. So I had to read, because I didn't remember any algebra, right, from high school. So I had to take regular, pre-algebra or whatever it was. I had to take pre-algebra because I hadn't taken algebra in forever. And see, here's the thing. I love geometry. I love math. Really. I love fractions and geometry. And I love math because they're like little puzzles. They're like little mysteries to solve. So when I got to algebra, I thought, this is going to be awesome. More of a puzzle and something else to figure out. Algebra does not work. I tried to get my teacher to explain algebra. I tried to get all the young people that were taking it. I was in my 30s. I tried young people to explain it to me. Nobody could explain to me. The young people go, just memorize the formulas. That's all you got to do. Memorize the formulas. Well, I didn't want to just memorize the formulas. I wanted to know why. I wanted to know what it meant. What was I doing? Where was this going? Where will I use it? How will I use it? Why are we learning it? Nobody could tell me anything. Just memorize the formulas. That was the answer. It was horrible. Because, I really wanted to learn it. I really wanted to understand it. But nobody could make me understand algebra. To this day, no one's ever made me understand algebra. But then again, I haven't really, I haven't made the best effort to go and read a bunch of books on it. Because, I got other things to do. But, yeah. Well, I just wanted to understand it. Even if I wasn't good at it, quote unquote, good at it, I wanted to know the whys, the what for, because I love reading. Like I've read all these different books on Fermat's Enigma and all kinds of different books on math and mathematicians and the history and puzzles and how math works in it. But nobody's been able to explain algebra to me. But I love geometry. But anyway, so there's my what I would do if I wasn't doing art. It would be something in research. You think so, Judy? We're kindred spirit. Oh, let's see. I was the same way. Loved geometry, hated tears. Well, see, I didn't want to hate algebra. I wanted to understand it. And then I'd go up to the teacher. I said, I don't really get this. Can you help me understand? Now I'm talking to the professor. And she goes, well, you should probably just hire a tutor to get you through the course. I didn't want to just get through the course. I wanted to understand it. No. The kids that I helped, in English classes and helped edit their papers. And, I'd help them with their English and their writing and their editing. And I expected them to help me with my algebra. And their answer was, just memorize the formulas. So anyway. Well, see, to me, math is like a puzzle. It's just like a little mystery puzzle. And I love solving mysteries and puzzles. I know I've talked to y'all about, the game Myst and Riven and Uru and all those games that were pre-WoW, online games where you were with other people. It was way before any of that stuff. And it was all solving mysteries and puzzles. And you did it together with your other peers, your other avatars. And I forgot who it was that asked me to pull out, and I still haven't done that. And I don't even know if it's in that book. I'm going to reach up on a shelf and just look and see if my old avatars that I drew for everybody are in this book. Okay, so hang on. Let me put my chair right up against the table because I'm going to climb up on the table. I don't want y'all to see my feet. I'm going up on the table. Let's see, is it in this book? I don't remember. No, this isn't it either. This is a different portfolio. Dang, I thought this might have been my Avatar book, but it's not. Whatever happened to my Avatar book? Well, I'll have to dig around for it because I don't know what I did with it. But anyway, I drew all the avatars for everybody in color pencil back then. All right, so me too. I love Myst and Riven and all those. Were you in Uru in YCA? Were you in Uru? So, well, we've been here about 2.5 hours. And I showed y'all some little bit of techniques. Again, where did I pull it here? I'll just show you a couple. I don't do a lot of inking. I do it mostly during Inktober. I'll just pull out like here. Here's my Zira. This is one of my movie monsters my way. That's what I did for Inktober last October. And I've done Inktober for 5 years. So I will probably do it again this October. But this is done with the ballpoint pen, and then inking the darker, thicker parts. Okay, and the rest is done with ballpoint pen. So that's why I like doing ballpoint pen. But I got a little carried away with the color here and the painting, and I really just wanted to do it. I just wanted to really do it in ink like this. So these are some of my movie monsters that I did. I'll just pull out a few here. Wait a minute. This one's one of my favorites. The Invisible Man. No, I'm not doing iCAD. Yeah, I'm not doing index card today. Yeah, no, I'm not doing iCAD. Janet is. Janet's going to do iCAD. I'm going to call her out. Janet said she's going to do iCAD. All right, guys. Well, I guess I'll head out. Again, if you want to, go watch the Hut interview me at 7:00 Eastern on the Comic Book Hut. I will leave his link to his channel in the description box after this video renders. And by the way, guys, if you ever go to a, you know, a 2, 3 hour, 4 hour video and you don't see the the full video, it might only show an hour and a half and you can't see the live chat. It's because it hasn't fully rendered. So you got to give it an hour sometimes. Sometimes I think Mary Altier had hers took all night one time. So you got to wait till the full video renders. Happy hump day to you too, Nanamo. Oh, you're still on the maybe? Oh, you are doing it. Maybe? I don't know if you're doing it or not, Janet. And thanks, Janet, Julie, Pacola, the awesome mods. Pacola, the queen of mods. She's everywhere. Pacola is modding everywhere. If you ever get Pacola as your mod, you got yourself a gem, guys. Just saying. Or I should say a jewel. Not a gem, a jewel. All right, guys. Hi, Jay and Cat and Pace. Anyone else I missed? Muffy K. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, NYCA. All right, guys. Y'all have a blessed day, and we'll see you at other streams and around the interwebs. Bye.